Now, I would like to focus on the hottest place on Earth, which is the South China Sea. The South China Sea is a tale of complexity. If you look at this map, it looks very peaceful. A country surrounding the water over here called South China Sea. So naturally, land usually surrounded by waters. Now we have waters surrounded by land, which from here you can already tell the complexity of the claim of the waters. I'll make the story short. So after the claim by every countries around South China Sea, the map looked like this. Okay, I repeat. It is this before, and after the claim, it looked like this. Very complicated. Very interesting to observe that the China actually claimed almost the entire of this South China Sea. Using the line, it is called the 9 dash line. If I show you this a map, for example, this is the map that is submitted by the Chinese to the United Nations in 2009, claiming almost the entire South China Sea. Okay. Now, if you look at this map, this is how it looks like. So this is the 9 dash line, or the line that is claimed by China to claim the entire South China Sea, including the waters and also the islands over there. And this is Indonesia's line with Malaysia and with Vietnam. This is another line that is claimed by Indonesia. So it is now becoming more complicated. One thing that I'd like to also mention is that this line claimed by China is not the line based on the Law of the Sea Convention. It is based on the historical basis. However, for Indonesia, the claim is based on the law of provisions on the Law of the Sea Convention. Now, with the claim of China, we can understand my first slide. I would like to remind you again with my first slide. If we connect this line using the smooth line like this, you can understand that the entire area over here is claimed by China. That is why now we can understand why Chinese fishermen came there and start to fish. Not 1, 2, 3, and more. And because we understand also that the area, according to Indonesia, is part of the Indonesian water, why then Indonesian patrolling officer went there and captured them. Now we understand also why the Chinese vessel also came and secured their fishing vessel. So basically what happens is that there is overlapping claim between China and Indonesia, even though the claim by China is actually not based on the Law of the Sea Convention. This is one thing that we need to understand. Now, Indonesia has issue with China.
You have 3 minutes, Pak Anji.
Thank you.
Enough?
Now it is actually brought by the Philippines to the PCA, Permanent Court of Justice, and the result of that is first, the court decided that the 9 dash line or the Chinese claim is invalid. So anything over here within this U-shaped line or 9 dash line is invalid. This is first decision. Now this is the new map of the South China Sea looks like. First, this 9 dash line is no longer there, it's gone. Second, the islands over here, the small islands in the South China Sea, is entitled only to 12 nautical miles of territorial sea. So it does not, so it is not able to claim more than 1,200. So it is like this, it looks like this. And second, this is Indonesia's borders, Indonesia's claim, Philippines, Malaysia and the Philippines. Sorry, I mean Vietnam earlier. And this is Indonesia. So this is how the new map of the South China Sea look like now. So now from here we can map the potential issues and conflict between those countries in the South China Sea. Once again, this can be a very long presentation, but I'll just end here. One thing that we'd like to conclude with is that geospatial data, as I demonstrated to you earlier, geospatial data and information are vital to understanding and managing international maritime security issues. With that, I thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Andi Arsana, which is a very, very interesting presentation related to the transboundary issues of archipelagic countries like Indonesia and adjacent countries. And also, second, I would like to invite Mr. Paul Tang, the CEO of SIXCAP, to talk about more on application of geospatial on handling some issues in Indonesia.
Do I use this mic?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine like this. And you can turn on. Yeah. Check.
Hello?
Yeah.
Is that ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, hi guys. My name is Paul Tang. I come from Singapore, co-founder and group CEO of SIXCAP. I think one of the things that we've heard during this Indonesian Economic Forum, and one of the things that we're most proud about, is that we have come into a very strategic partnership together with our friends at Universitas Gadjah Mada for various initiatives, and one of which is the Digital Geospatial Intelligence Initiative. I think with the team here, one of the things that we want to share with you guys is this new collaboration to look into this problem of the haze. This issue of the haze plagues ASEAN, a lot of countries in ASEAN, every year. Fortunately this year, and Pak Trias will explain to you why this year is a little bit different, but if you look at last year, during the dry season, I think Singapore experienced, amongst other ASEAN countries, Singapore experienced quite a serious haze problem, and it's something that we feel very passionate about. When embarking on this initiative in the much formative stages of it, when you go and read on the online chatter, a lot of the online chatter takes this very instigating approach whereby it's a lot of finger pointing, a lot of global activists as well as environmental activists are all pointing at Indonesia, saying that the haze is stemming from this country. Can you guys go and solve the problem? But one of the things that we feel very passionately about is that with our friends in Indonesia, it's not just an Indonesian problem. And one of the things that we feel very strongly about is about how we can harness the power of crowd and bring ASEAN together to look at how we can solve this problem together instead of finger pointing at one another. So that's pretty much how the whole initiative started to kick off, and then we had the opportunity and privilege to share this idea with, or at least this approach with our friends at University Gadjah Mada, and we are currently working out on a solution whereby we can do two very interesting things. One is to, like I mentioned earlier, harness and mobilize the crowd to come together to raise this issue, right, of the burning peatlands in Indonesia. And the second interesting thing about this initiative is that it doesn't and it should not take a very finger-pointing approach. In fact, it's this initiative is really all about how academia, private sector, and governments can come together, right, to solve a problem. Because as a Singaporean in Singapore, when we see the haze, yes, we have a spike in the number of respiratory illnesses in Singapore. But if you think about it from a different perspective, what is that like in Indonesia? And it gets much worse. So I think it's a problem that everyone needs to come together to collaborate to solve instead of just finger pointing at one person. And I think that's a very important part of the approach as compared to what's been taken on an international stage. Yep. So that's just to give you guys a flavor of what this initiative is looking like. We are currently in the very formative stages of development of the solution, and by no means is this a very simple problem. It's a very complex problem with a lot of geopolitical dynamics involved. And I think that's testament to the whole idea of why we need to have a collaborative approach to solving it, because it's not something that's going to be solved so simply. So,